Bad habits. We all got them. Now let's talk about it. Hey everyone, and welcome to the I Got This podcast with LEX and MGP. My name is Lex, and I've been a personal trainer over the last 5 years. Martha started her fitness journey with me 3 years ago, and over that time, she's lost over 60 pounds and changed her entire perspective on life. Join us each and every week as we talk about our journey together, healthy lifestyle habits, and of course, the I Got This mentality. Hey everybody, and welcome back to I Got This podcast with Lex and MGP. We are back at it again with the white vans. No, I'm just kidding. Do you remember that one? That was good. Every time I say back at it again, damn, Daniel. Anyways, if you don't know that, look it up.
Look it up.
Look it up. So we're talking about bad habits today. Habits are something. Here, let's define habits. Okay, so habits are a negative behavior pattern. Did you know that habits can be formed over 66 days? It says 60 days. I've heard 90. It's definitely not 30. You can't build a habit in 30 days. You have to build a habit in like 66 to 90 days. So you can build bad habits or good habits, either or. Mm-hmm. But I think it says bad habits in 66 days. So that's interesting.
Oh, like 666.
Ooh, just in time for Halloween. I think this should be coming out week of Halloween, right?
Yeah, it seems close. Yeah.
Yeah. Martha was just looking at a candle on my table. She was like, is this, what'd you say?
Well, I thought it was like a church candle at first.
And it's actually a Wiccan.
It's like the opposite of a church candle.
What does it say? I want to look at it.
Purification.
There we go. So it can be seen on the pod. It's a cleansing magic quartz and sage infused spell candle. Okay, the reason why it's in my house is because my dad used to live in this house. So my dad's brother gave me this cleansing kit to cleanse the house of all of my dad's energy.
Brotherly love there, huh?
Pretty funny, actually.
That is kind of funny.
I think it's funny.
Sounds like typical brothers.
He made me sage the house. It's like, sage it. It's disgusting.
Well, because I asked why she had it, and she's like, to ward off evil spirits. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm offended right now.
No, never. So it's kind of funny. We did look up.
Anyway, back to bad habits.
So going away from Wiccans and stuff on Halloween. I do love Halloween. Do you?
Yeah, it's fun.
Are you dressing up this year?
I always do for school.
Oh, you do? What are you going to be?
I don't know yet. I have to figure that out.
You should be.
We usually have a theme, so I don't know what the theme is. Like the teachers usually have a theme.
Oh, okay. We do that too.
Yeah.
At the gym.
Yeah, I remember.
90% of the time we're Army.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen you guys be anything other than military.
Yes. I think because we're like, oh, well, we have that. So.
I don't know if I told you last year we're going off topic a little bit, but last year during Halloween, my students they happened to be taking a test that day, and they were complaining, we're going to give us a test on Halloween. I'm like, yeah, then you won't have homework that night. That's a good plan. And so they're in the middle of the test. It's dead quiet in my room. And I just started playing the Halloween theme music.
Oh, like
the Jason music.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And then they all just stopped and I'm just cracking up.
Oh my God. I would be like horrified.
Yeah.
Like as if this math test isn't scary enough.
I've also jumped out of the closet dressed as like Jason at the.
My God. Oh my God.
Hey, once again, if you're not having fun,
I don't want to see you on Halloween. Nope. No.
You've seen me on Halloween.
I have.
I don't come dressed up.
Please
to the
don't
gym.
pop out as Jason to me. That's pretty freaking fun. I can't stand like those scary movies, but I like Hocus Pocus. Did you see Hocus Pocus too?
I have not yet. It's on the list.
It's cute. It's pretty cute. It's not like great. It's not Hocus Pocus 1, but it's cute.
Yeah.
I'd put it at
6. You're looking.
Yes, 6.5.
You've got a 6 face.
Yeah, it's like a 6. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
All right.
Well, hey.
Bad habits, not staying on topic.
Also, you know what a real bad habit is for a lot of people? Eating Halloween candy. Bad habit.
Yeah.
Until it's gone. Don't eat it till it's gone. I say throw it out, honestly. That's my rule. Like, just throw it out. Because if it's in the house, I'm eating it.
Yeah. Certain things.
Yeah? You don't like other ones?
I only like certain candy. If it's a Reese's peanut butter cup, I'm eating it.
Me too. I'll eat any candy. Just don't bring me any, people. All right. Okay. So we looked up a list of bad habits.
We did.
Let's go through them. It's pretty funny.
Okay. So this was the New York Times 20 bad habits you need to quit right now. And what we were expecting and what's on the list. Some are there. but some are kind of funny. But the number one bad habit is picking your nose.
Continue.
All right. Number 2, binge drinking. So that one, okay.
Obviously, I feel like that's a pretty common one.
Yeah, we already know, your stance on that, so we don't even have to get there. Number 3, you do not sleep for even 7 hours. Getting less than 7 hours of sleep on a regular basis.
That's a lifestyle. Yeah, that's a lifestyle habit. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have been guilty of that in the past for sure.
Definitely. I think I divulged my poor sleeping habits to you recently.
Mm-hmm. Well, you nap.
I nap.
So there's that.
I haven't been napping recently. I think my habits were once like so strict. I've been a little bit more lax on them. As we talk about bad habits, you'll hear more about my bad habits, but definitely I sleep a lot less now.
Yeah. I mean, I really have tried to make a point of getting 7 or more, but it doesn't always happen.
I don't think we need 7 or more hours all the time. I feel like sometimes you like wake up at 6.5 and you're like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And last night I got 8, so I must have needed it.
Poor sleeping habits are not good. That will affect not just like how you feel, but your health for sure. And like fat loss and poor sleeping habits are horrible.
Yeah. So if you're constantly tired or fatigued, obviously you're not getting enough.
Then you have a bigger problem.
Number 4, and this kind of goes back to our previous episode from last week, being negative. It says, stay positive and all shall be fine. Positivity is everything.
Stay positive and all shall be fine.
That's what it says. Don't be a negative Nancy, yada, yada.
No Nancy's here.
Nope.
Let's move to the next.
Number 5, and I guess I would have never come up with this one, wearing headphones for too many hours in a row.
Yeah, I don't know if some of these are bad habits. Maybe. Like that doesn't...
I mean, if the volume maybe is really loud, you're damaging your... But that seems more like a harmful thing than it does a habit, I guess. I don't wear my my AirPods as a habit. I wear them when I hate to use the word need them, but when I'm working out or going for a walk or something like that.
I guess if you're wearing them all day long, I will notice I leave them in like kind of for quite some time. Like I'll wear them to work out and then I'll keep them in when I go to the car and then I'll like make a call with my AirPods in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do that
too.
But
no, that could be a bad habit, I guess.
Yeah. I know that some of the students at school will wear them almost, it seems like 24/7. They have them in all the time.
Oh, well then maybe.
And then I have to say, take out your headphones. Well,
actually,
I can hear you.
You're right. I do know people that like leave them in and
they're not even, anything's turned on.
Yeah. It like kind of looks like you're not trying to talk to anybody or you're not listening. I definitely wear mine when I'm out and running errands so that people won't talk to me. Kind of crappy, but I do.
You're not feeling friendly. You just pop them in.
Yeah. Or just all the time. So I guess I could see that as a bad habit for sure.
I mean, I have popped them in if my husband's snoring. I've slept in them.
That's true. Yeah.
Without anything on.
I know the waves aren't like great for you. So
I don't know. But anyway, back to the list that I found. Number 6 is being a couch potato.
That one, I guess. Yeah.
Number 7 is wearing heels.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I guess that could hurt your feet if you're in heels too much.
Okay.
All right. Number 8 was carrying a heavy bag all the time. We were talking about that.
That's true. If you sling it over like one I definitely bring so much stuff to work in a small bag that can't fit all that stuff. So it's definitely affecting my shoulder.
I did switch. I used to have more of a tote bag for work back and forth. And now I have a backpack.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So because I am hauling stuff back and forth and a computer and all, that's really helped with that because I would get neck or shoulder because you always put it on the same side. You just habit, right?
Yeah. I think that's a great transition as long as you're not letting it pull you in and you got to keep your chest tall and squeeze those scaps,
you can find professional looking ones. So, number 9, sleeping with your makeup on. I have been guilty of this in the past.
When you're like too lazy, oh my God, but it's the worst feeling in the world when you wake up.
Oh yeah.
Ugh, you wake up and you're like, I feel disgusting.
You just feel like it's sweaty and it's caked on and your eyes are stuck together and it's bad.
I agree.
And it usually goes hand in hand with like maybe a night where you probably binge drank too. So
yes.
And you're just feeling gross head to toe for sure.
Ugh.
Yeah. Number 10, eating even when you're not hungry. Is that a habit?
That's a bad habit. Yeah. That's a bad pattern. Bad habit.
You can get into a pattern of I'm always going to have a snack at a certain time. And I don't even think you're following hunger cues. I know that would be me in the past.
That's a solid one. Yeah.
Right after work, I'm going to come home, I'm going to have a little snack. And it wasn't even asking myself if I was hungry or not. It's just time for a treat.
Yeah.
So
I definitely agree with that one. Yeah. You're just like, when I get back from school, this is the time that I normally eat, even if I'm not hungry. So I'm going to eat. But it can be turned into a good habit if it's a nutritious meal.
Sure.
It can be.
Sure.
It just depends. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, old me, I felt like I deserved a treat at that time for surviving the school day, I guess.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, I deserve this. I want, like, not even that I want this. It's just, this is my food is a reward, as it should not.
Right. That's
be
kind of
viewed
what I'm saying.
possibly.
So that was the habit. Number 11, I'm surprised it took all the way to number 11 to get here. Smoking.
That is a bad one.
That is, we'll agree. That is a bad habit, right? I think nowadays,
Smoking what?
yeah. Well, no, it just says smoking here, but I mean, we could go into vaping as well. I think
Yeah.
that I've seen actually an increase in that.
I guess I'm curious as because weed's like pretty popular now. I don't really smoke that much weed at all, really.
But yeah, it just says.
But I'm curious, like,
they're talking cigarettes here on the list.
it does say cigarettes.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious if weed is, because I know people who smoke weed on like a consistent basis, and I'm curious how much of a bad habit that is.
Does it become a habit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just not talked about, and like we should definitely talk about that at some point. I'm curious.
It's right up there with alcohol. I mean, as far as abuse or use or recreational, I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
I know just as many people that do both.
Yeah.
Or one or the other
One or the
equally.
other, yeah.
Yeah. We've seen a huge influx. It used to be smoking, remember in high school, everyone would sneak in the bathroom and be smoking cigarettes or whatever. Now it's all vaping. We never confiscate cigarettes in the high school anymore.
Yeah, cigarettes are like
it's like an older
it's
generation.
archaic.
Yes.
Definitely.
So it's very, very rare. It's almost all vape.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't even get the draw because, well, I'm not a smoker, so never have been. So I think that's why. But every single time, like, I was at a wedding like last night, and like they were passing, like my friends were passing around the vape, and it wasn't weed; it was like nicotine.
Right.
And I was like, wait, what? Like, what? I didn't understand it. And that's hard for me. But it is a bad habit because it's addicting for sure.
For sure. And that is replaced cigarettes, I believe.
Yeah. It's not even Juuls now, it's Breezes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's everywhere. I mean, you see it everywhere, for sure. Number 12, lying a lot. And it says, we know that this isn't a class in morals, so you might be surprised to know that you have a habit of lying too often. You can affect your health in a negative way when you lie because you put yourself in a stressful state.
Did I tell? I brought this. Oh, that was my top of my pen. Sorry.
She's throwing stuff at me.
Don't bring that one up. Don't bring that. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding.
MGP.
No, I used to lie a lot when I was growing up. A lot, and it was for completely unnecessary. Not like a pathological, like not one of those psychological liars who would be like, "Yeah, my cousin is famous," and like I know I'm like Eminem or something like that. Not like that.
Right.
Like things like, have you seen this movie? Like, yeah, I've seen that movie, even though I hadn't. Like, it was weird. And I think it was, you said like a mechanism to fit in. And it was, or like to avoid getting in trouble or to avoid.
I think everybody does that growing up. Come
on.
Who hasn't lied to their parents to get out of trouble?
Yeah. But honesty is like, I do think it's a habit that you build. Like once you say something and it gains traction and it allows you to like feel like you fit in or not, or get out of trouble or feel like you gave somebody the answer that they wanted, even though it's not truthful. Right. I do feel like that's a habit that I had to consciously break. And every time I would say something that I was like, wait, Alexis, you didn't see that movie. Like I had to consciously break that habit and be like, whoa. Like, why are you saying this right now? So, not like pathological, like little white things that are not a big deal, but unnecessary. You know what I mean?
No, I totally get what you're saying. And it's probably was some immaturity in trying to fit in.
Yeah, I
when you think about it.
I think it's
not something you're doing now.
No.
So that would make sense. And I think a lot of kids do that.
I think so too. I think it's not talked about, honestly. I think it's not. I think I looked it up. I was like, how to like work on not lying. And it's not talked about. And maybe I'm the only one with this problem. Like that
I think a lot of kids do that, to be for sure.
You're right. Yeah.
No,
or like, I didn't drive, mom, that person did when I drove. Like just, but even in college, like just to fit in with the sorority, like I would do that stuff.
Oh yeah. Everyone puts on airs or lies by omission too. Don't admit to things that they should.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
That's true. I think I've gone so far the opposite way. Now I've tried so hard to be more, wait, no. I didn't mean it this way. This is the truthful way. Like, I think working so hard to not be like that has helped me become a better woman. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean, you're only as good as your word.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I think, we both work on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, number 13 is popping medicines every day. And they're not talking about things that you need that are prescribed for you. It says, we are a generation that thrives on pill popping. So they're talking about like over-the-counter pain medicines.
I know a woman who took 25 Advil a day. Yeah. 25
How
Advil
does
per
her
day.
liver work?
Okay, but two things. Because she was so here's the thing. We'll talk about the habit loop. But she was in so much pain from like aches and pains from being out of shape.
Sure.
So she literally would pop one in the morning because she wake up achy. But now, again, I don't have aches and pains.
Sure.
So I can only talk so much from experience or from knowing people who have these aches and pains. But she would wake up achy and then pop a few. And then at lunch, say that it was wearing off. So she'd pop a few more Advil. So like 25 a day. But I think it was a habit because usually sometimes when you get out of bed and you're like achy, you walk around a little bit and those aches start to like loosen up, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially you had a hard workout the day before or
it's usually from,
like
it's less from, she wasn't, it wasn't from exercising.
Okay.
It was from lack of movement.
Gotcha.
So it was like being tight and tired. I think your husband has this more.
I'm fortunate. I really don't have a lot of aches.
Yeah, but you like, he'll come in and I'm going to air him, but he's good at saying, he's like, hey, I'm just feeling like extra tight. And it's from like getting older. Like that's just what it is.
He calls it old man syndrome.
He does. He's like, I got a case of the OMS today.
Yep.
And I appreciate his honesty, but he's like, I just got to loosen it up a little bit. It'll be fine. He doesn't pop a ton of Advil or anything, but he was the one who allowed me to understand it the best. I was like, oh, you're just tight today. It's just, And
you train with him first thing in the morning, so he hasn't had a chance to loosen up yet either.
Yeah, he's pretty good at warming up too, so he doesn't feel that way. But that's I do think that's a very serious, like as soon as you feel any type of discomfort, pop that Advil. Any type of ache or pain, Motrin, so. Yeah,
I guess that could be a habit. It's not something I usually try to avoid taking. I don't like the way they make me feel. So it's like the opposite.
I have a weird aversion to them. I'm like, I'll be fine without it.
That's kind of where it's pretty bad if I'm taking them.
Yeah.
Or I have to have like a fever.
They're not that bad. I know. It's like you can have one every once in a while and it'll actually help you.
So sometimes it upsets my stomach. So that's kind of it has to be pretty bad for me to take it.
Yeah. Not me. I could easily have one once a month and I would probably help me more than hurt me. So it's kind of funny. All right, continue.
All right. Number 14, skipping breakfast. So, I mean,
number one bad habit I see in all of my new clients that I onboard, calling y'all out. But that's common. It's okay. It's common. That's a common one. Like so common. It's
like skipping breakfast, not because they're like doing intermittent fasting. They're just skipping because they're running late or.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not purposefully.
It's not like intentional skipping. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I am too hungry.
I'm waiting on mine.
Oh, you're waiting on it? Well, we're at 15. There's 20.
Okay.
15 is eating junk food too often.
Duh.
Okay. I mean, duh. Number 16, biting your nails.
Yes.
That's the one you're writing on, huh?
That's mine. I have a few, but that's a big one.
Well, it says the habit is not merely a bad personality gesture, but also bad for one's health because of the germs that stick to your fingers.
I haven't been sick since I've been working on it.
Look at that.
So that's eye-opening. I used to get sick a lot.
It says the habit of nail biting can make people more prone to cold and flu.
Yep.
Look at that.
But that's a hard one. I kind of used to spit on people who would say, like you. Sorry, not actually. But would people be like, oh, I just stopped. Like, how? Like, how did you stop? And then,
I don't even know. I couldn't explain it. Remember? Because I told you I used to do it.
Well, you said you had a good reason.
I did. That's when it happened, but I don't know why. It just did.
I don't know. I think for a long time, you said to me you just stopped. And then you finally divulged today that you probably subconsciously stopped because you got engaged and you wanted to show off your ring and people would look at your fingers.
Hands. Yeah.
So I think that's a bigger reason than you.
That's about the time that it happened. So I'm thinking that subconsciously that must have been tied together.
Probably. Yeah. That makes sense.
Doesn't mean though, like from time to time, you'll catch yourself with your hand
Fingers
in your mouth, and you're like, what am I doing?
Oh, it's bad.
And I don't even bite. It's just like that. I'm like, gross.
It's an old habit.
Yeah. So it's just something that comes back, and then you're like, stop it.
I'm still working on it. It's now I'm picking, and it's really a hard thing for me to. It's weird because I feel as though I'm a very disciplined person. So it's weird to be like, I literally can't break this habit that is so. It's tricky.
I remember reading somewhere, and I don't remember what it was, that the people that do that tend to be perfectionists.
I'm definitely not a perfectionist.
But about certain things you are.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
No, I would say that you are in certain ways.
Okay,
And I mean that in a good way. So
thank you. I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate that. I do take that as a compliment as somebody who doesn't classify themselves as that. So, but I think that's a really, really big one for sure. I think a lot of people that I talk to about it don't stop until their late 20s, which is shocking. Yeah,
because I think it starts when you're a kid.
Yeah,
a lot of people that suck their thumbs, I think, evolve into that. Although I never sucked my thumb, but a lot of little kids do.
Yeah, it's that Freudian thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
All right. So back to our list. Number 17 is not having sex. That is a bad habit, I guess.
Didn't classify that as such.
Yeah, didn't know. All right. 18 is eating too fast.
That's a good one.
We both talked about being guilty of that.
Yeah.
I have a very short lunch period at work, and trying to eat lunch quickly. I'm in a fixed time, and I know you are too, between clients. So
I down it because I have to, time frame wise.
And I know it's not good for my body. You really need time to digest, but sometimes it is what it is.
A client actually texted us about, he texted me and he said, hey, you guys should talk about this on the podcast, which we should do an episode on how your body digests food. But when you visually visually look at your food and take time, and not while you're watching TV, but when you see the plate in front of you, or your mind understands that you're eating, right? So that you become more satiated and full. So that's something that we should talk about more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not only watching TV, I know when I used to commute to work when we lived in Chicago, I would eat a lot of times in the car.
I definitely still do that. But then your car gets dirty.
Well, your car gets dirty, but you don't realize you've eaten either.
Yes. Yeah.
So there is that.
That's a good one.
So that was number 18. Number 19 is staying in an unhealthy relationship just because it's a habit to stay in that relationship. And number 20 is worrying too much about your acne.
Yeah. So you said something before this and it killed me. You're like, some of these aren't bad habits. They're just bad lifestyle choices. And I agreed. I was like, this is so funny. Half of these I feel are just bad lifestyle choices for sure. But also bad life choices. but also bad life choices are bad habits. It all comes full circle.
Well, I mean, biting your nails and then staying in an unhealthy relationship to me are not in the same.
Very big extremes.
Those are not the same.
It's not a little habit. It's a big, that's a big chunk of your life.
I don't even know if that's a habit. You're just making a bad life choice.
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. But let's talk about the more small, the smaller ones that. Let's talk about the habit loop. If you guys have not read, there are 2 habit books I would highly recommend. The Power of Habit, great book. It helps you understand the psychology of habits and the habit loop, how your brain forms, and actually the neurons and how they kind of work in terms of habits. And we talk about habit building on a daily basis. If the internet says it takes 66 days to build a bad habit, I'm going to assume 90 to 120 days to build a good habit, because good habits are usually harder than bad habits, right? Definitely read the Power of Habit. That is a great book. It allows you to understand. It's more science-based for those of you that like numbers, like stories relating to numbers, that type of thing. The second is Atomic Habits. That's more about how to build healthy habits and the importance of consistently building healthy habits day in and day out. I think half the things that we talk about are just things that I have read in books, hear from my mentors, kind of, I feel what I believe in, but also what other information, maybe even other podcasts, with the plethora of self-help out there now.
Exactly.
So the habit loop, cue leads to craving, leads to response, leads to reward. So I'm going to talk about nail biting because that's what I know, right? Okay. So cue, I'm in the car. So I'm in the car. Then I start thinking about things that stress me out or worry me. So then I crave oh my God, I have to like do something that like makes me feel better. Response. So start biting my nails, and then reward. I feel not sad. I mean, I don't want to say satisfied, but I feel better because I bit my nails, I guess, right?
Placated yourself, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know, but that's what it is.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's harder to stop a habit. It's easier to replace a habit. More recently, I've been getting my nails done. So when I'm in the car and I start thinking about things that might stress me out, instead of the craving, I actually start tapping my nails on the dashboard and I just start clicking them like that, which I also think is a little bit annoying in itself.
But if you're by yourself, it's fine.
Exactly. So that's a good one. I think when we talk about it in terms of health and wellness, that's a bigger topic. Nutrition, there's a huge one. And I think a lot of people are saying, need to stop overeating and snacking, and that's 90% of people, right? So you're at home, you're bored, so you're like, okay, I think I need to walk into the kitchen. You walk into your fridge.
You start looking in the cupboard.
Looking in the cupboard, yep. And then response, you make something, you eat it, and then reward. The sad thing is, do you ever really feel satisfied from that? Same as nail biting, not really. You're feeling like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, now it's too late. I ate it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more of a, and then it goes back to that cue, right? So sometimes replacing that habit with no longer. So if that normally happens when you're sitting on the couch watching TV, I'm not saying don't watch TV, but maybe switch up the cue that causes you. So if you're sitting at TV watching it on the couch, what if instead you're folding clothes? What if instead you're doing
that sounds horrible. I'm kidding.
Well, doing a mindless task that would allow you to busy your brain and your mind. What if instead you're, doing something with your hands, crocheting or something along those lines, typing a paper. You have to think that was a little bit excessive. I don't know. But what if you can change that cue? Now, for me personally, again, I can't stop driving in my car. I'm going to drive in my car. So I'm going to switch my habit to tapping my fingers instead. But I like the idea of replacing a bad habit as instead of just stopping, because that's hard. I really think like when people say just stop, like what do you mean just stop?
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous request.
No, when you hear like people who are smoking, they just say, oh, I just went cold turkey. You're like,
did you really though? Yeah. Or like, did you start drinking more water instead? You could replace it with a good habit. There are two different, like you could stop a bad habit. You could replace it with a different habit, or you could replace it with a good habit, because building good habits are hard in themselves. Today, we're just talking about breaking bad ones.
Right. No, you're right. Exactly.
If you can figure out your cue and then where your mind goes, if your mind is stressed, if your mind is full, like where your mind goes is key. And again, this is, if you guys read those two books, you'll find out a lot as to why you're doing certain habits. And then the lying thing, like when I go back to that, I had to mentally go back to, well, why am I doing this? Okay, for what validation? I'm getting nothing out of this. Nobody's going to be mad at me if I tell the truth. They're actually going to get to know me better.
Right. You're not going to be shunned because you didn't see that movie.
Yes.
And if you are, who are these people?
Who are these people? Or like, are they going to think you're that much better? They're going to know people also know when you're lying. Like, people know, like so like they're actually going to think higher of me because I'm a truthful person.
Right.
So
for sure.
I have to go to where my thoughts are before I do that. So that's a good one. What about you? Any habits that you've broken?
Well, I would say that the after school snack for sure for me, and not that I've totally replaced having a snack. If I'm going to go train or something, I'm going to have something to eat, but I have gone away from the junk food type snack into I'm going to have an apple or a protein bar. So I've replaced it with something else. Is your thought process, how does your thought process change? It's no longer that I need a treat. It's more that I need fuel because I'm going to go work out. Fuel is like, yeah, I think as soon as you start thinking of food as fuel as opposed to a reward. And yes, that goes back to like childhood. How did your parents speak about food and all that good stuff? It's very dynamic. And no, we are not nutritionists. No, not at all. And no, or we are not therapists, but you do know that
like if you start to see fuel or think of food in a different way, like how is this going to make me feel? Is this going to empower my habit? Is this going to empower my body? Is it going to fuel my body? Then you're going to tend to make healthier choices.
Yeah. And that's kind of the same thing. I mean, I was always in a habit on Friday and Saturday night of going out for drinks or just having a cocktail at home, even not by myself necessarily, but I mean, just, my husband and I or whatever. And I knew that wasn't helping me achieve the goals that I have. So I had to break that habit. Yeah.
Having a glass of wine every night. That's a pretty common one. That's pretty common.
And I know it's that, I deserve it, mentality, but I also deserve to feel good. So that's kind of where I've gone with that. And the reward I have noticed is how much better I'm feeling Saturday morning, Sunday morning, not having multiple drinks Friday or Saturday night.
Exactly.
And it can be as simple as one, but for me, if I'm going to work out the next day, it's a game changer for me on how I feel the next morning.
Absolutely. 100% agree. So, I think if going back to the habit loop, if you find that one thing that you can break, if we go into a circular motion, cue, craving, response, reward, if you break one of those patterns, like for you, if it was the craving of I really want to drink and your response was, no, I'm going to get a mocktail. Like that's a win.
Right. And that's what I've tried to do is do something else that's fun or satisfying or whatever it is. And try to enjoy that. And I'm not going to say it's not always easy. I mean, there's times when other people are sitting around you drinking and you're like, oh, that looks good, or I'm tempted.
To indulge every now and then. It's okay. You don't have to stop drinking, but to cut down on a regular basis. And then when you do it, you're like, dang, I really enjoyed that, like more.
Yeah. And that's what it's become, more of a special event kind of thing for me, especially right now, because we are in a calorie deficit. So I just don't have room for it in my calories. Or I don't want to spend them on that because I'm too darn hungry if I do. So,
oh God, now she's starving herself.
Exactly. But I mean, it was definitely a habit to, we were just, it wasn't like a special occasion. It wasn't a date night. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, we're going to watch a couple shows on TV. You want to drink? Sure. I don't need to drink while I'm watching a TV show and I'm already tired anyway. Yeah. So
if the goal there is to relax, just relax. Right. Yeah. It's breaking the habit for sure. Well, good. I feel like we all have bad habits. Just like I said in the intro, it's about figuring out where your mind is at with it, figuring out like what your cues are and then slowly breaking them. But again, to try and break all your bad habits at once is a silly request.
Oh, it'd be overwhelming.
Yeah. It's too much. Just try to break one at a time or try to add, again, building good habits instead of breaking bad habits sometimes ends up replacing the bad habits and you feel more confident from all your good habits. So you're like, oh, wait, now I can cut out the bad habits. I do feel like once you build good ones, it's easier to break bad ones versus breaking the bad ones first and then building good ones.
Yeah. You've replaced.
Exactly.
Like you said, you've replaced whatever that time was that those bad habits were taking. So yeah.
But no, we still have them. I still have them. I mean, I have fake nails on right now, but I still bite them. Still figuring it out. And I think that's the thing. It's like these things never end. It's like we all have bad habits. We're always going to have bad habits. Oh, we forgot. Overspending was one of them.
Oh, yeah. That was one we came up with. It wasn't even on the list.
Yeah. I notice as soon as I'm on my computer, I'm on like Revolve. What's new on Revolve? What can I get? But that's huge because financial health is super important as well. And I feel like that's not talked about. We should definitely talk about that at some point in terms of health. Yeah. That was a request we got on. I asked like, what should we talk about? And somebody was like, let's talk about financial health. And I loved that request.
All right. Maybe that's our upcoming episode. So
yeah, I like it. I
may have fed your bad habit by sharing how to get rebates online.
I know you did actually.
I apologize.
It's okay. I'm not going to stop. I just need to make sure my income is higher than my outcome.
You save money.
I'm getting money back.
There you go.
But that's a good one. Cool. Well, love to hear your feedback on it. Always give us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts.
Absolutely. And a positive comment goes a long way.
It does.
Until next Monday.
I got this.
Hey guys, thanks for listening this week. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. For more I Got This content, please make sure to follow, like, and share on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or you can always go to our website, igotThisPod.com for more info. As always, thanks for listening. See you next Monday.